Hello and welcome to the podcast on lead-acid batteries by Ramesh Natarajan. With industry experience of over 42 years, Ramesh helps battery and battery-related industries with technical inputs and provides solutions to typical problems faced by manufacturers, service personnel, as well as users of batteries and related equipments. Do visit www.rameshnatarajan.in to stay connected. Enjoy the session.
Hello and welcome to today's episode of this podcast, where I'm going to answer a question which a lot of people ask, and they want to know whether EVs fitted with lithium-ion batteries are the future of passenger transportation. Well, I have a certain opinion which I would like to share with all of you. Electric vehicles, or EVs as they are more popularly known, are a sunrise sector with a lot of government encouragement so that car buyers shift to EVs from internal combustion engines. Internal combustion engine vehicles are referred to as ICE vehicles, ICE vehicles. EVs are seen as the answer to reducing pollution and improving the air quality index in urban areas. EVs do not have tailpipe emissions like ICE vehicles, so they contribute to improving the air quality in cities where these EVs are used. However, critics of EVs have pointed out that EVs are heavier than ICE vehicle engines, and hence the wear and tear of roads is higher with EVs. It is an accepted fact that electric vehicles emit more nanoparticle matter pollution from their brakes and tires compared to ICE vehicles because EVs are heavier. This is likely to be more pronounced on dusty rural roads. Particulate matter in the air is also a dangerous health hazard. Ongoing research on vehicle weight leading to increased tire wear due to more friction impacting the road surface shall shed more light on this issue. EVs need regular recharging, and the electricity consumed for this activity is mostly from thermal power plants located in remote areas. Thermal power plants are not energy efficient or environmental friendly. Unless electricity is produced using renewable energy sources, we can surmise that pollution continues with the area of pollution alone getting shifted. Whenever a person talks of EVs or opts to buy one, the primary consideration is running cost and the savings that accrue due to the perceived lower repairs and maintenance and the substantially lower operational expenses. Because there are fewer moving parts, repairs and maintenance costs are perceived to be very low. While this may be true in most cases, when we talk about workshop expenses and routine service costs, it does not apply to the entire spectrum of EVs. If a vehicle has a problem due to a mishap or mishandling, the costs incurred for repairs and maintenance by the vehicle owner are very high. Let us now discuss the operational expenses. The cost of recharging the vehicle every month is lower than refueling an ICE vehicle, whether it has a petrol or a diesel engine. The price difference seems to be substantial. Please note that it only seems substantial. When we talk about the total cost of ownership, which is TCO, this saving disappears. These savings are not a reality but a figment of imagination. Since I have touched upon the total cost of ownership, let me list the following points that affect TCO. One is the cost of EVs compared to a similar ICE vehicle. The second is the insurance premium. Third, let us talk about maintenance expenses. Fourth is, of course, the battery replacement cost, which is substantial. Fifth is roadside assistance charges, and sixth is towing costs. I shall now elaborate on the points of TCO that I've just mentioned. It is pertinent to note that on a like-for-like basis, the cost of an EV is much higher than that of an ICE vehicle, even though an ICE vehicle has many moving parts and is a complex mechanism. This is because EVs have a very costly battery, usually approximately 50% of the vehicle cost. They have battery management systems, sensors, and sophisticated controls for feedback mechanisms, which increase the cost of EVs compared to ICE vehicles. EVs are heavy, so the tires are also being specially designed. These tires are built based on vehicle weight to reduce friction noise. Low rolling resistance tires benefit EVs. They can help reduce noise and improve efficiency, but also contribute to increased tire wear. Electric motors deliver immediate torque, leading to quicker acceleration, tire scrubbing, and abrasion, resulting in faster tread wear. EVs utilize regenerative braking, which uses the electric motor to slow the vehicle. This, of course, helps reduce the wear and tear on traditional brake pads and rotors. While regenerative braking can minimize brake wear, EV's increased weight and power can still lead to faster brake component wear. Let us now understand why insurance premiums are higher for EVs. Annual insurance premiums are an expensive proposition for EVs. Higher premiums are due to higher repair costs, such as when there is a damage claim. EV users must read the fine print and review all the exclusion clauses. They must also ensure that they opt for the zero depreciation feature. Ensure that battery charging cables and portable chargers are also covered by insurance. Users of EVs must ensure that they have adequate insurance protection to cover digital systems and roadside assistance, which includes towing costs too. The insurance costs are understandably high because the experience of the insurers has been that when it comes to claims, the EV users per claim amount has always been higher. EV users mention that the insurance premium for an EV is usually 20 to 50% higher than that for similar ICE vehicles. The premium is higher when own damage is covered and all riders, including zero debt, are opted for. As we are talking about insurance, it is pertinent to note that insurers can refuse to entertain claims if they notice that the maintenance has not been carried out periodically per the original equipment manufacturer, that is OEM guidelines. Insurers also reject claims if they observe that unauthorized repairs have been carried out without OEM approval. Insurers consider the depreciation of EVs to be higher than that of ICE vehicles, and buyers of EVs need to be aware of this too. Let us now delve into routine maintenance expenses. The major components in an EV are the battery and electric motor. Not only are these costly, but they are also the most critical components for the smooth working of the EV. The motors are rugged and usually have a long lifespan, but due to some reason, if the motor starts giving trouble, the cost of replacement or repair can be high. Batteries are high voltage, and since they are built with a series parallel configuration, the major issues arise when the batteries develop cell balancing issues. Overcharging, fast charging, and deep discharge should be avoided to ensure that thermal runaway related problems do not occur. Thermal runaway is usually taken care of by BMS, that is the battery management system, concerning the safety protocol. Whilst on battery temperature, it is pertinent to note that high temperature operation of batteries degrade battery life. The infrastructure is another topic worth mentioning. The infrastructure for service being set up may be suitable for routine checks and service, considering that EVs need lower maintenance on a routine basis. However, if and when a vehicle needs repair or service, these service centers are found to be incapable of addressing the complexities involved. The reported experience of EV owners has been that repairs take longer, get delayed, and entail high labor costs. This is probably due to the shortage of labor and service engineers who are sufficiently trained to handle this new technology. With complex systems comprising batteries, regenerative braking, battery management systems, sensors, etc. We have realized that batteries and electric motors are critical components. The motors are usually rugged and have a long lifespan. But let us discuss battery replacement costs. EV buyers know the monthly savings that accrue due to not using fuel. They must deploy these savings, or at least a substantial part of these savings, in a separate account to buy a battery when needed. After purchasing their new battery, the balance remaining with them is their operational cost savings. Once the new battery has been purchased and fitted, the cycle starts again and they must begin to save afresh for their next battery and so on. Please note that this savings amount, if any, accrues only as operational cost savings and not as a reduction in the total cost of ownership. Let us now understand the need and importance of roadside assistance. ICE vehicles have been around for a long time, and service workshops and mechanics are available nationwide. EVs are relatively new, so such a facility is unavailable and not likely to mushroom soon. Moreover, warranty issues and insurance agencies' restrictions on unauthorized repairs makes it mandatory to seek roadside assistance, that is RSA, from OEMs. Hence, roadside assistance is a must and must be availed of in the case of EVs, irrespective of the cost involved. This cost needs to be factored in when deciding on an EV purchase. Towing EVs is more expensive than towing ICE vehicles. Special machines are to be deployed for towing EVs since EVs are heavier. EV buyers must factor in this as a likely cost to be incurred if they are stranded due to a discharged battery, even if the repair is not the reason for towing. Thus, any fuel cost savings accrued to an EV owner have to cover the higher cost of EVs compared to ICE vehicles, insurance premium riders, high and probable maintenance expenses, battery replacement cost, roadside assistance charges, and the extra cost of towing the car. Regarding TCO, that is total cost of savings, the savings accrued after these expenses are covered can be considered as real savings. Operational savings accrued every month are at best an eyewash. Now that we have addressed the points of TCO, let me discuss some equally essential aspects that need to be addressed to make EV users comfortable. One is infrastructure. The second is charging. The third is app standardization. We also need to discuss range anxiety. And we have to consider the safety of the user. The next is recyclability of batteries. And we cannot disregard vehicle resale value. We cannot ignore subsidies, and lastly, mishaps and accidental damage. Let me elaborate on these points one by one. Regarding infrastructure, we seem to mainly talk about charging point availability. Chargers en route on highways must enable long distance travel, but they must be standardized to suit all vehicle makes and types. Certification of these charging points concerning their earthing, standardization of meters, rates charged, firefighting equipment availability, and charger quality is equally important. The infrastructure must be manned by a well-trained attendant who is capable of handling an emergency safety-related issue. These charging points must not be housed in fuel stations. From a safety point of view, if they are near fuel stations, adequate care must be taken to ensure sufficient fire safety precautions. The personnel working here must be well versed in emergency protocols. Infrastructure is being developed based on vehicle sales. At the same time, vehicle sales are not picking up as expected since most EV buyers are waiting for infrastructure to be developed. This is a chicken and egg situation. Circular dependencies make it challenging to identify the initial cause or effect. Let us now address the issue of charging. It is a known fact that all batteries, regardless of their chemistry, degrade over time. Many do not realize that fast charging is also detrimental compared to slow charging, and it must be resorted to only when required. The chargers also need to be adequately serviced, but the battery management systems, sensors, and regenerative braking mechanism are equally, if not more important. Hence, EV users must ensure that these are correctly serviced and their status monitored and reported. EV users must only use OEM authorized chargers, portable chargers, cables, and extension cables. This will guarantee safety and ensure that insurance claims are not rejected in case of a mishap. If we talk about apps, they have to be on a common platform for various vehicles to make it easy for EV users to locate chargers. It is also worth mentioning that the chargers, connectors, and charge profiles have to be standardized. The software updates must be online and should not require the EV user to take the vehicle to the service center. Let us now discuss range anxiety. This is one major issue of concern for all EV users. The range estimation algorithm must be improved so that it does not fluctuate wildly. Alternatively, manufacturers must build a safety factor to display a lower range as the battery reaches a lower state of charge, that is SOC. The EV user shall be happier if he obtains more range than displayed instead of vice versa, which is the situation at present. A range of 50 kilometers displayed changes to 26 kilometers after a travel of 10 kilometers, when the user rightly expects the display to show 40 kilometers. This unnerves the user and causes stress. EV users must understand that batteries generally drain faster at higher discharge rates. This characteristic of battery behavior may be why the displayed range is not achieved. Range anxiety is a stress factor for the user, mainly when the vehicle is used for long distances and away from the EV user's city. This needs to be given due importance and addressed appropriately. Another major issue regarding EVs is safety. EV users expect an EV to be as safe as ICE vehicles, if not safer. The experience, however, is different. The batteries in EVs are prone to thermal runaway. This usually happens when a battery is on charge and overcharged, but can also occur when over discharged. EVs have the necessary protection built into them to prevent both of these circumstances. Thermal runaway can also happen when a battery gets overheated due to an inherent battery fault or physical damage. Even a minor accident can cause physical damage to the battery, puncturing the battery module and shorting the cells, which triggers heat and fire. EV users must know that water may cool a battery fire, but the fire extinguisher required to extinguish the lithium-ion fires is AVD type. AVD means aqueous vermiculite dispersant. Lithium battery fires spread within seconds, engulfing the vehicle with no scope for escape. Hence, any fume or smoke from an EV must be treated with utmost care and caution. EV batteries of the lithium-ion type are not easily recyclable, unlike the popular lead-acid batteries used in ICE vehicles. Certain facilities are being set up, but not all cities or even states in India have recycling factories. The situation is quite similar worldwide, making the matter of disposal of the battery unclear. There are ideas of using EV batteries for a second life as batteries for UPS systems. These can be done after a review of the condition of the batteries and sorting. This shall need a setup with trained people to equalize the cells, replace the faulty cells, and assemble the battery accordingly to match the system voltage. This shall be an industry by itself. The economics of such a venture are not clear. These facilities are not widespread and a few pilot plants are being set up. The proposal cannot be considered an established practice in place of recycling scrap batteries from EVs. When an EV user goes in for a replacement battery, they may be asked to pay to dispose of the old battery. Alternatively, the cost of a new lithium-ion battery may be quoted to EV users with the cost of disposing of the old battery added to the price of the new battery. Another trend experienced by EV users who want to sell their 2 or 3-year-old EVs is the low offers they receive. This is a bitter experience for many EV users as the resale values of IC vehicles of comparable age are much higher. Subsidies declared by many states in India for EV users are either being pruned or withdrawn, making EVs costlier and unaffordable to many. Subsidies are also being stopped globally. EV mishaps and insurance claims are not restricted to accidents. If an EV's batteries are damaged, the damage is likely caused by driving on flooded roads or leaving the vehicle stationary in a parking lot that has been flooded due to heavy rain. Water ingress leads to shorts in battery cells. A mishap involving an EV with a two-wheeler or three-wheeler causes heavier damage to these vehicles since EVs are relatively heavier due to their battery weight. I am very much for disruptive and emerging technologies that are good for the environment and thereby the future. Any technology that makes life easier and safer must be adopted. Marginally higher cost is justified and must be borne by the user if it benefits humanity. With this in mind, I have a few suggestions for improving the EV landscape. Hopefully, these steps, incorporated and implemented by concerned authorities, will lead to wider EV adoption and serve the purpose of environmental protection. Let me go over the steps one by one. First and foremost, educating the customer on safety protocols, the dangers due to water flooding, the benefits of slow charging, the compulsory use of authorized charging sets, and the necessity of using authorized service station repairs is necessary. The second thing is that a better BMS needs to be introduced. The third one is to address the anxiety range expressed by EV users and not overpromise. It is better to promise less and deliver more. The fourth thing is a standardized user-friendly app encompassing all aspects. Efforts must also be made to develop software that can be updated without going to the service center. Affordable EV models must be introduced so that the vehicle cost is not much higher than that of a comparable ICE vehicle. A better charging infrastructure with standardization has to be worked on. It would be a good idea to work on early warning systems so that in case of a smoke or fire, the car's occupants can get out without getting harmed. It is also necessary to study insurance claims rate, average amounts disbursed, overall claim volumes, etc. These must be discussed with insurers and efforts must be made to decrease premiums. Next, we need a service model unlike the ICE. These must be company-owned service centers where service engineers and service mechanics trained by the company interact with the EV users rather than having agents or dealers not well versed in EVs. Many simultaneous developments are underway with sodium-ion, zinc-air, and other battery chemistries in the battery sector. At the same time, research is going on to make lithium-ion batteries safer and recyclable. It is too early to write off EVs. Tomorrow's EVs may be different from today's EVs. Technology and battery chemistry are also developing fast. Returning to the question we started with, are EVs fitted with lithium-ion batteries the future of passenger transportation? The answer in one sentence is, unless lithium-ion batteries are made safer and recyclable, their future in EVs seem uncertain. I would love to hear your views on this subject. Please do respond with your views on this topic by sending an email to me. I hope you enjoyed this episode of my podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Please do visit www.rameshnatrajan.in. Keep yourself updated about our new releases by hitting the subscribe button.